Jack Mallers' Strike app signed a big deal with Visa Card, right? So Strike app is utilizing a Lightning Network, a Bitcoin Lightning Network, to make transactions basically near zero fees and almost instantaneous, right? But now credit card companies want to hop on the Lightning Network as well because they're like, okay, this is a better network. Why not? Lightning, Visa and MasterCard, American Express, all the big credit cards, they still use ancient networks that has to be bounced around through different banks, right? They take time. There's a lot of fees. But utilizing something new like Lightning Network is just so much better, and that's why they're very interested in utilizing the Lightning Network. So that's very positive for Bitcoin overall. And then as for Bitcoin itself, well, there's still a lot of good fundamentals going on. Good technicals too. This one is looking at a 200 weekly, or this one, the 200 moving average. Yeah, it's the weekly moving average, but there's a heat map applied to it, which doesn't really add to anything. The important thing is Bitcoin is above the 200 weekly moving average, which is seen as a bottom. So that's pretty positive. Also, you look at something like this. Is Bitcoin dead? When you search for Bitcoin on Google, this is pretty good reversal indicator, kind of like the Peter Schiff tweets. Whenever you have a ton of people somehow Googling, is Bitcoin dead? As if they're going to find an answer on Google that says, yes, Bitcoin is dead. Well, maybe, Google will show Peter Schiff tweets. But it's just funny how that's actually a real search term that people utilize. But anyways, whenever you get a peak of is Bitcoin dead searches, that's, again, bottom indicator. That's when most people are fearful, and that's usually when the market flips around. And the number of hodled or lost coins, or a combination of the two, has just reached a 21-month high, 7.4 million. This is according to Glassnode. So think about that. Up to 7.4 million out of the 21 million supply is either lost or just hodled. It has not moved at all. And keep in mind, the number of Bitcoins released is not even at 21 million. It's a little bit above 19 million. So if you subtract off 7.4 million, well, you're left with only 12 million Bitcoins that's circulating, a little bit less than that. And 12 million among 8 billion, very, very, very little, right? So that's the difference between Bitcoin and everything else out there. There is a set supply, and with so much lost already that can never be recovered ever, it's the scarcest asset we have, right? It's not going to be like someone stumbles upon $12 trillion worth of gold underground in Uganda, which they are starting to dig. So it's not like you just go find 20 million Bitcoin out in your backyard or in Uganda or wherever. It's not going to happen. It's governed by code. I did mention about a lot of analysts. They're looking at, I saw many of these on Twitter. Here's one about breaking through this bullish, wedge, right? And how we just broke through that. Another one showing the same thing, this bullish ascending triangle. Everyone is looking at the same thing. And then I mentioned about heading up to about 29,000. Well, my camera's cutting this off a little bit. But you could see, right? Other people are seeing the same thing, that we fell down quite dramatically from that 29,000 mark. But here's the thing. There's not a lot of buy or sell volume between this gap, which means, again, we can fill this gap really, really quickly as long as just get a little bit more momentum, a little bit more. Oops, that's not the right camera. This one. Get a little bit more momentum, and then we will be on our way. Man, it's about to get exciting. It's about to get real, real exciting. And here's another one. This is just utilizing the Elliott waves. Well, what happens? Let's say we break through that 29, 30,000. What happens next? Well, if we're following the Elliott wave, well, it looks like, yeah, we're going to see a lot more. We're going to retest some of those those levels, right? If you see the giant down from A going up to B, giant down to C, right? And then we're going to get some new highs, new lows. We're going to keep heading up. And by the time we get to the fifth wave, it's right around 40,000. I do think after 30,000, we're probably going to slow down. Like right around 29, 30,000, we may head there for a little bit and stay there for a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Despite all the headwinds and macro stuff that's still going on, right? The fact that we are in recovery mode, we're back to 24, and if we get back to 30,000, that is a win in my book because, man, there's still a lot of stuff going on, right? It's not like all the stuff we've been talking about with inflation and with recession and the war and supply chain issues. It's not like all that went away. We're still recovering from those things, but, you know, things will get better, and we're certainly seeing the beginnings of that. Michael Saylor is still saying, well, gold is going to be demonetized by Bitcoin gradually and slowly until all utility from gold basically passes on to Bitcoin. And I agree with that, except the fact that there will always be a utility for gold in jewelry, right? I don't think jewelry will ever switch to digital. Well, I take that back. There's already NFTs that's already doing that. But still, there's always going to be a place for physical things for gold. Besides that, as a store of value, yeah, that's going to be transferred to Bitcoin. We have $12 trillion sitting in gold right now. That is about to double to 24 trillion when the 12 trillion in Uganda gets dug out, right? But Bitcoin barely scratches that. So there will be a lot of value transfer, let's just say, from gold to Bitcoin in the coming years. So look forward to that. Also, Japanese giant Shinshi now offers $60 to new customers, and you could choose either XRP or BTC. Right, so we hear about banks, giving out free money to new account holders or creators, but they're giving out crypto. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. It shows that the appetite among consumers in crypto is way higher than fiat at this time. Right? That's a big shift right there. And of course, when you're talking about global adoption, well, it's only going to go up from here, right? Right now, you could argue somewhere between 100 million and 1 billion users are in crypto. But as time goes on, that 1 billion is going to go up to 8 billion. But guess what? The Bitcoin in circulation is not going up much more from here. So you're having a supply issue, basically, in a good way, because it's going to cause the price to go a lot higher. But just think about that, where the Bitcoin in circulation is pretty much flat from here on out. Very little left to be mined, while the demand just keeps going up and up and up and up. So, good stuff. Good stuff. What else is there? Of course, in the meantime, people that are coming into this space is growing by leaps and bounds. Number of addresses holding at least one Bitcoin is above 1. Number of addresses holding one Bitcoin is going higher and going to all-time highs seemingly like every week. Every time I pull this up, it's a new all-time high, new all-time high, new all-time high. You're just not seeing a drop. And while this is happening, while more and more people come into space, Bitcoin is still hovering at 24,000. We're not back to 70,000 yet. Imagine when we do start making some moves, let's say we get a 30% pump like what Sheeb saw today with Bitcoin, we're going to see this really just go up exponentially to the moon. The number of people FOMOing in hasn't really started yet. This is just people educating themselves, getting involved with something that's better than fiat, better than what the governments are doing. But this is not pure FOMO. Wait until pure FOMO comes in. Then you're going to see this really start skyrocketing in a big way. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin and crypto for the first time and you don't know where to get started, head over to CryptosRus.com and click on the best exchange guide. Within, you'll find a list of exchanges that I recommend and some that I use on a daily basis. If you are outside the US, I highly recommend looking at Binance.com first. They are the biggest exchange out there, supported in almost every single country. They have a fantastic fiat on-ramp, off-ramp system. They offer the most trading pairs and the lowest fees in the industry. You could also download a mobile app onto your Android and Apple device very easily. If you are in the US, I recommend taking a look at the sister company of Binance, Binance.us, which offers all of these things and more. So if you want to learn more, head over to CryptosRus.com or utilize the links in the description of this video.